Hello there. Welcome to Gnashing Teeth. I am a biblically accurate deer, and I have a master's degree.
And I am the longing between what you can do and what you wish you could do, and I'm a dropout.
Meat, meat, we want the meat. Meat, meat, we want the meat. Gnash those teeth, we want the meat.
Hell yeah. I hope everyone liked that bit. I thought about it really hard, okay?
I came up with it about when Monday finished talking is when I came up with what I was gonna say.
Yeah. Um well, good afternoon evening, every puppy in the world.
Mhm.
Uh, I suppose I have brought this week's topic.
Indeed.
And it is inspired by my most infamous Tumblr post, which I have um, turned to be punch up jokes, is the actual topic. So, to just give everyone level playing field, um, I will just read the post. It's very short.
Okay.
But a punch up joke is basically when you, as an oppressed person, are making a joke at the expense of someone or some group that is in a position of power over you. So, for example, like I say in the post, uh, people of color making fun of white people. Is one instance. So I said, my favorite thing about punch up jokes, such as I hate all TMEs, white people are so annoying, etc., is their infinite capacity for weeding out false allies. Because, jokes at the expense of an oppressive group shouldn't hurt you if you understand yourself to be a member of that privileged group who genuinely works to fight that oppression. Your guilt and discomfort is a tell. And so I just want to talk about this post because a lot of people had a lot of feelings about it, specifically privileged people.
Mm-hmm.
I find it so fascinating that uh, this sort of expansion on an adage that I had heard from every elderly person in my life, even in like elementary school, which is that only hit dogs holler.
I knew you were
Like
gonna say. I felt it in my
I
bones.
don't. I just don't quite understand why that's such a hot take all of a sudden. So I want to talk about. Let's talk about that.
Let's talk
As
about that. Let's break that down.
yeah.
If you drink matcha every 2 hours and sleep 3 minutes a day, you can increase your productivity. Let's talk about that. Anyway, sorry. That
Yeah.
that might not make it into the final cut. What were you gonna say?
Well, I was just gonna open it up to you. That is my hashtag topic. What are
Um,
your hashtag thoughts?
I think that the human brain is very good at deceiving itself, and I think that the human brain, which I mean, we're just the meat does the thinking, right? Like,
My
um,
liquid meatball. It
mhm.
tingles.
It's just a little pomegranate. So it's a little grapefruit pomegranate-sized little ball of meat. Point being that human brains are very good at deceiving themselves, and people are very good at holding an intellectual belief and not internalizing it. And the intellectual belief can be, um, anything that is appropriate to the topics you brought up, right? It can be about white supremacy, it can be about trans misogyny, it can be about, um, you know, classism, ableism, whatever. But when they have to look at it, that's a lot harder. Especially because a thing that I think is one of the most important skill I've had to work on so far in my life, as somebody with really bad OCD and intrusive thoughts that aren't, how do I say this? If I made a Tumblr post about them, I'd be canceled. right? I don't choose the thoughts that I have, but I do choose how I engage with them. We don't choose really the emotional reactions we have to things, including, you know, being called out for a thing that a group we're a part of does, like including the things we talked about, right? We're talking about. We don't really have control over our response internally, our internal reaction, but we do have or even what our brain wants us to believe, if that makes sense. As I belch, I'm sorry, audience. Uh, we don't really have control over what our brain wants us to believe, but we do have control over what we actually do. And people who have, hold transmisogynistic, racist, bigoted beliefs of any kind and get called out even tangentially on them by a punch-up joke. People are really good at seeing themselves, even if they don't want to, and they can see, oh, I have this belief, and I'm not choosing to, like, people see exactly like you said. Oh, I would have not, like, people don't have anything to feel bad about if they are actually interrogating and working to be better about these topics. But if they know they hold these beliefs and say they don't, that takes the floor out from under them. And I
Mhm.
think that is why it resonates so much. And resonation doesn't have to, like, it resonates really like hostilely to these people
Mhm.
because they haven't, I would think, haven't done or don't realize they can or whatever do the work to unlearn or unact on these beliefs.
Yeah, I think that's a fantastic point. I think you sort of honed in on something that was also pretty immediately brought up on this post. I received an anonymous ask from someone who was asking, it seemed as though this individual was coming from a good place, but I was truly so fed up by the response that this post got. So the anonymous ask. Again, it's on my Tumblr if people want to read it, but the gist of it was like, um, if I'm not allowed to get upset at those, that this is the wording that the anon used. Um, am I supposed to just not react at all, or what am I supposed to do to be a good ally? And I think that word allowed does so much rhetorical work
Mm-hmm.
in even just like the framing of this question.
Like you're allowed to
Um,
do whatever you're allowed to attack the person who made the joke with a hatchet if you really want to. You're allowed to do whatever. It's what you
yeah.
want to suffer the consequences of. That's the
Yeah, and
question.
so I in my response to that person, I was like, this is not even remotely about like you or your feelings or like what you're allowed to do or not. Like the point, just to say it, just to say the unspoken part, the point of my post and the point of punch up jokes in general is that if you are hearing them and they apply to a group you're a part of, like if you are white and you are hearing your non-white friends making jokes about crackers or whatever, like the reason you're hearing them is because there is a level of trust, and the criticism is not being leveled at you as an individual white person. It is being leveled at whiteness as a hegemonic structure that plays a direct role in oppressing the people you're in that room with,
Mm-hmm.
who ostensibly are your friends. So, yeah, you shouldn't react because if you are not doing those things, like they wouldn't hurt your feelings.
And even if
So,
even if they do
and he,
hurt even if they do hurt your
exactly.
feelings and you're not doing them, right? Even then, you know what you do? You butch up and just take the joke to the you just tank it. You just butch up. You just man up and
Yeah,
tank it.
if it hurts your feelings, I mean, listen, like that's okay. Like it's okay to have hurt feelings sometimes. The thing to do is to sort of look internally,
Mm-hmm.
because if you recognize that this joke is at the expense of an oppressive group, but the joke still hurts you on an individual level, it is probably because you have some shit to unpack. You
Yeah.
know, like if someone is talking about how microaggressive TME people are, like using words like dude or bro to refer to trans femmes, those trans women don't want that to happen to them. And if you, as a TME person, do that, it might not necessarily even be a call out. Like, you may not have called those women dude or bro, but it's also a sort of anonymous invitation to do better and to like think about the way your actions can and are oppressive.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because you mentioned earlier, Esther, like there are things that like the brain wants to do, and I think that what you're actually pointing to is like conditioning rather
Yeah,
than a sort of rather than
it's
a
what
sort of like
it's
meat response.
right. It's
Yeah,
like it's what I mean the meat is what gets conditioned, but it's the
right,
response that is ingrained rather than the response we would choose to do. I think is
right.
what you're getting at. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, the problem with being better is that often you have to be told that you
Mm-hmm.
need to do better, and sometimes it's not always going to be polite.
No.
Like, not everyone is going to hold your hand and say, I love you, but you're hurting me. You need to do this different. And, you know, God bless the people who do that. People have done that for me, but people have also not done that for me. And I think they were still really valuable learning experiences, but especially with discussions of privilege and oppression, like maybe on an individual level, you are perfectly polite to the people in your life that you hold privilege over. But like being nice is sort of just like the bare minimum of what you
Mm-hmm.
have to do to be a person who engages in the world. Like I always say that like being nice isn't a personality trait because it's the bare minimum. It's how
Yeah.
you should treat people. Uh because niceness should like in my mind should be a given because like I don't know you, you don't know me. What unless you have shown me hostility, I don't see a reason to be hostile to you. But
Right.
and
It
I think that's
isn't.
sort of the problem also is that like politeness can still hold hostility
Yeah.
in the delivery of those oppressive structures and those oppressive messages, which is what microaggressions are.
Yeah.
So when you are told that you are doing these oppressive behaviors and you are being oppressive and aggressive and wielding your privilege like a cudgel, to pull our vocab word from last week back, like you have to look at it like, do you want to keep wielding the weapon? Do you want to dig your heels in and to start swinging wildly because you have that position of privilege and literally can do so? Like I had trans men telling me to kill myself on this post because I was putting them in this position of where, well, they don't get to defend themselves, and
Why
it's
do
the
you need to
same kind
defend
of
yourself,
people.
huh?
Yeah, like you don't
Why
have
do you?
you could
Why
just
is it? Why is it a
do
position
better.
where what? Why is it a position where you even think you need to be defended? Why do you feel
Yeah,
attacked by somebody stating how they're being treated?
yeah. It's because you're treating them that way. Like it's your fault.
Yeah,
And yeah. Um yeah, so ooh,
I think. Um, I think one of my core beliefs, and I think I've said this a couple times. One of my core beliefs that people are smarter. Most people are a lot smarter than we give them credit for. It is how people. The human brain is the greatest computer in the universe, right? Like, come on. People are even dumb people are smart. It's about how we choose to engage with that intelligence. And why is that as relevant? And what I mean by that is people know when they're being shitty, right? Like,
yeah.
you know, in in the antebellum South, in the Confederacy, they made up excuses, right? They were saying it was better for enslaved people. It was more productive. They gave them education. They made up excuses. They didn't just go, "This is right because I say so." They went, they went, "This is right because we're helping them." Really, people know when something is wrong because they tell on themselves with how they talk about it. And I think this is a great example because
Hmm.
people know that the way they treat others is shitty. That's why they get so defensive. That's why they act like they're under attack because they know they're doing something wrong, right? Because it is intuitively obvious what is right and what is wrong. Because you just have to not be an asshole. That's it.
Hmm.
That's it. You just have to not treat people like shit, right? And you have to
Yeah.
treat people according to what they need. And if you can't do that, and you know you can't do that or won't do that, then of course it feels like an attack because it doesn't feel like a won't; it feels like a can't. And if somebody's telling you to do something you can't do, then you feel attacked. But of course, you can't. You, the only way to change something is to change it. You just do the thing differently. That's it. Like that's it. Monday and I are living examples of it. It's that easy. It's literally that easy. I know there's not going to be any of those T-boys watching or listening to this podcast, but literally it's that easy. All you have to do is stop being an asshole. It's that easy.
Yeah, and I think that like um just to be a little charitable, because I know that uh there are ways that this kind of discussion of like punch up jokes can bleed into being like an actual factual asshole.
Yeah.
Um and that can be you like the critique of hegemony can be used as a shield to basically negate like the interpersonal experiences that people have.
We had an
um
experience with this with
I
yeah,
was
yeah.
gonna I was gonna bring it up. Yeah, so like there are certainly ways to approach those instances that are reasonable and you know not immediately interrogatory. Because to give a real actual example from truly this last week, so Astra and I were on call with its girlfriend, who I am also friends with, and the two of them were taking the piss out of TMEs, which it doesn't bother me because clearly they trust me. It's like it's not a big deal. Um, and in the sort of ribbing, um,
Mm,
one or
I
both
said
of
it.
you
I said it.
made
I said it.
yeah. So there was a joke made about how like I can't find women funny anymore because I take testosterone. And in the moment, I just sort of took it on the chin, but I did privately message both of them and say, "Hey, like that's fine. I don't really care about the ripping on CMEs, but I'm not a man.
Hmm.
like I know it was a joke, but don't
But
insinuate
we
that
were
I'm a man."
doing a little bit of bioessentialism and playing it off for like bioessentialism is one of the most intoxicating and easy to fall into mechanisms of bigotry in the world, I think, and we were doing it, right?
Yeah.
And it is important to recognize that the anger you have to look at the most and the anger you have to investigate the most deeply is the righteous anger you feel. Because people
Hmm.
have done a lot in the name of righteous anger. And they were
Yeah.
they felt just as right, like the Crusaders felt just as righteous as we do as oppressed people standing up to our oppressors, right? One of the most important things I've ever learned is that humans emotions are fundamentally subjective, and we experience emotions at like the intensity of the emotions we feel do not scale to the entirety of human experience, right?
Hmm.
It does not matter if you are terrified about what to wear to school because you're worried you're going to get bullied, or you're terrified you're going to get shot because you live in a war zone. The experience of terrifying anxiety is the same experience, right? Now,
Hmm.
do those feelings of anxiety need to be given the same weight and consideration and importance? No. No. But are they the same internal experience? They're similar enough, right? Which is all to say, you know, the experiences we have of righteous anger as oppressed people don't mean that we're actually being righteous,
Hmm.
and we have to investigate it, or else we end up telling our best friend something mean, or we end up in the example I thought you were going to go with Monday is the housewarming party, or not the housewarming party, the yeah I
Oh
thought
no, that's not where I was going at
no,
all.
should I go there
You can
or
tell that story if you want. I mean,
basically uh a couple of our friends, well, one of our friends is somebody who isn't our friend anymore. We're drunk and we're gonna do something stupid, and we intervened, and it did not go well. And one of the people who is no longer our friend, uh, freaked the fuck out, and as part of that freak out, used its trans femininity as justification for the freak out and to be an asshole, and to literally threaten to kill itself if it didn't get its way. And sometimes you're just being an asshole, and yeah. You can't see, but Monday is fuming. Monday's head is about to explode.
It was just such a it was a difficult experience because I truly did come at that situation from the angle of I care about both of these people who are both younger than I am,
Mm-hmm.
and I did not want either of them to make a mistake. That was
Yeah.
all. Like we had all been drinking, and I did not think it was wise for the two of them to share a room alone. That was really the extent of it, because I didn't want something to happen and then they wake up in the morning and feel bad and shitty, and like then
Yeah.
there's a weird rift between. Like I didn't
You'd
want
rather
that.
have them be
Not-
kind of disappointed for a night than carry trauma for the rest of their lives.
exactly, and that morphed into I was deciding what was or was not sex, even though it was very textually clear, I think, to everyone else that, well, I mean,
Humanities
this
major.
is meta. Well, so there's metatextually where it's like, they were flirting, they were kissing, they were touching. Nothing was said verbally, but like it was said verbally.
No, I know
that
what
the
you mean.
intention was,
The thing I'm giving you shit for is
yeah.
using textual analysis terms for an actual human
Well,
interaction that happened. But
it's what happened.
it
But
is what
yeah, like,
happened, and you're right. And I'm sorry for giving
yeah.
you the nonsense.
No, you're good. It was just like there was a textual reference point for not just me but everyone else there, that the intention of the two of them sharing a room was to have sex.
Yeah.
And I was accused of calling it a rapist because I didn't want the two of them to share a bedroom. And when
Only
Aster,
hit
when you and I
dogs
walked in-
holler.
well, Aster, when you and I walked in, like they were both
They
half
were
naked.
butt-ass, booty-ass naked.
Yeah, it was not a sort of will they, won't they. It was they were about to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and just I'm also very deeply upset with how you were treated, how my girlfriend was treated, because then it wasn't just that like I was the big bad TME wolf. Like that's fine, I'll do that, but like it got up in your face and was screaming and was marching around in front of my home and demanded to speak to my girlfriend, who was already
Passed out
trying
drunk,
to sleep.
basically.
Yeah, like not really with the shits, not really coherent. Yeah, so that was just, yeah, I didn't really, I apologized to it. I didn't really want to say much else. I said, I'm sorry I spoke to you that way. I was truly just concerned about both of you. I didn't even address the accusations because clearly that I didn't say that, so I wasn't going to
You were going to
harp on
dignify
that.
it with a response because you didn't say that.
But yeah, so like there are ways that one can utilize their position of being oppressed to delegitimize interpersonal strife that can certainly be informed by hegemonic oppressions, but in these instances that we just gave, those were not the driving forces to the situation that happened. They were they were interpersonal issues, and interpersonal issues cannot and can never be reflective of hegemonic structural oppressions.
Yeah.
And that's part of why the punch-up jokes thing is such a non-issue.
Yeah, and also, just to be clear about something, the number one tactic fascists use, is making them look like the oppressor, like the oppressed, right? It is very convenient to make yourself look oppressed, because everybody roots for an underdog.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So it like, that behavior of using real or perceived status of oppression to justify interpersonal inappropriateness, being an asshole interpersonally, is a fascist tactic. that fascists use because they make themselves seem oppressed. Which is all to say, you're not under attack, you're just being an asshole and don't want to have to look it in the eye. Right?
Yeah.
I didn't know I had so much to say about this topic.
Yeah, I'm cheesed as chunch. Frankly, I was worried this would be a shorty.
Yay.
So because we're learning on the fly here, we're going to add a new segment which we have dubbed "Sipping on the Lifeblood." So this will just sort of be a little intermission where Astra and I share real things from our real actual meat lives.
We're made of
Just,
meat.
just Yeah, where we're made of meat and not just voices in your ears. And yeah, do you want to go first?
Let me figure out what I'm gonna say. Yeah. Been applying to jobs. Busy applying to jobs because had enough 6-day work weeks. Um,
Word.
and trying to get back into school because I need better jobs. Um, trying to.
Careful, you'll have to change your intro if you
That'd
graduate
be pretty
someday.
epic. That'd be pretty epic. Uh, I've been re-listening to The Martian, which is one of my favorite books of all time. It's the
Mm,
first book I ever got on Audible, and Audible is the main way I read books because I am a illiterate
you're a
philistine.
traitor.
I'm a literate philistine, and by that I mean I almost definitely have dyslexia, to some degree. Um, but I'm re-listening to The Martian, and I forget how fun it is when a book is funny. Like not when a book is a comedy, but when a
Mm,
book is funny. Right? Like
yeah.
one of my spoilers for a book that came out 13 years ago and was one of the most important cultural, like one of the most popular cultural books of its time, pop culture books of its time.
I don't think you can say that, young baby.
Of its time.
I hadn't heard of it until high school when the movie came out, so
Right, and the movie, it got a movie deal before it got a book deal because it was originally an online serialization. So the movie came out around the same time the book came out. Anyway, point being, there's a bit from it that I really enjoy that's been
I love a bit.
living in my brain. That was my status on Discord for a while, which is
Oh,
www.watch-mark-watney-die.com, where he's like going into the sandstorm and he doesn't know where the bounds are and he's being watched from orbit, but he can't talk to NASA, and it's this whole thing, and he's going like, "Oh, nobody who knows where the storm is." Well, NASA and anybody who's paying attention to the news around this, and a bunch of people on Earth, and probably there's probably a website out there called www.watch-mark-watney-die.com. So millions of people know, but I'm not one of them. So that's been the vibe. That's been the vibe this week, I think. Is
very good.
I'm not one of them, but we stay silly. Um, yeah, just kind of chugging along. Yeah.
Choo choo and all that
Choo-choo.
shit.
How about you?
Um, well, I feel like I've been doing a million and five things. Going to be flying on Monday evening, which hardly seems like any time at all. We're recording this on a Thursday
Yeah.
for anyone who's curious, but yeah, so uh coming up very soon, and holy God in heaven, it's a long flight. Like I'm trying to mentally prepare
Mm-hmm.
for the day of travel ahead of me, but um yeah, orchestrating care for the cats, my little beasts.
The beefed.
Two. Plural beefed. He's at my feet right now, one of them.
Mm-hmm.
The old beefed. Um so yeah, I've been doing a lot of that. Been playing a lot of Baldur's Gate.
Balls
My
gay. What's the
second
news from the Sword Coast?
I am in Act 3. Yes, Act 3. I'm in the city of Baldur's Gate. Romancing Minthara with my tiefling ranger rogue multi-class.
Okay.
Yeah, she's bad as hell.
They're all bad as hell. Baldur's Gate. It's the baddie maker simulator.
It is the baddie
9000.
maker. Actually, I cast Scroll of Seeming on myself to escort Floric out of Worms Rock prison.
Mm.
Um, and it just randomly chooses a collection of features to give your character when you cast Scroll of Seeming. And they made my character a gnome, like a little gnome girl with like pink hair, and she was kind of cute as fuck.
Kinda cut.
I've never played any of the like the shorter classes, like any of the
Mm-hmm.
dwarves or the gnomes. But it kind of made me want to. I
Yeah.
don't know. Might I might
Play a
I need to
stout
finish.
dwarven woman with a fine, luscious beard.
Well, it's funny because I'm doing the Orin quest line right now. So I did just find the stout dwarf with a whip that got murdered bad in the city.
Man.
Um yeah, R.I.P. to Fionn.
Arco's
Yeah,
dead.
gone before her time.
Uh,
So yeah, loving Baldur's Gate the Third.
nice.
I need to finish a game with a drow. Like it has to happen.
Mm.
It has to happen. I love them. Drow is my favorite Baldur's Gate slash 5e
That makes sense
fantasy
given the
people.
edgelord of it all.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even like the Lothsworn. They're kind of like they're like drinking Kool-Aid,
And the
They're
matriarchy of it all.
I mean, the matriarchy's poggers, but yeah, like they're kind of drinking the Lolth Kool-Aid, which I don't love.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I like that Seldarine Drow can be like still like edgy with it. Be like, yeah, I was born in the Underdark,
Oh my god. I got out,
and like
though.
my parents were like a noble
It's
house,
like being
but
from, like,
they
Houston.
forsook Lolth. I don't know what that means.
It means you got out from a dark and terrible place and escaped to somewhere better and kinder.
Ah, that's true. I was like, who's from Houston?
I don't know. I don't know anybody from Houston.
Yeah.
Um, I think that's it for sipping of the vital heart blood of life. Um,
I'm gone.
who are we throwing to the wolves? I went first last time.
Well,
I think you go first this
that's
time.
true. You did go first last time. Who has been grinding my gears this week? I'm thinking. Ugh, all this. Okay, I was saying all of the things I've been mad about are like serious. I don't want to talk about that shit right now. We already did that. So this week I am feeding plastic tampon applicators to the wolves. That shit is horrible. Okay.
Yeah, it always
Aside
seems
from
like
the fact,
it'd be pinchy to me.
well, aside from the fact that plastic is horrible and disgusting and bad and wasteful, so while the ecologically sound alternative is some manner of cup or period underwear, the cup is ingenious. However, you cannot wear them in public bathrooms. Like if you're going anywhere where there are like bathroom stalls, so if your place of work, for example, does not have an individual restroom,
Mm-hmm.
you basically can't empty it during the day.
Mm.
Like because like the cup's idea, while ingenious, is that you just put it in like a tampon. There's a seal because it's silicone, body safe silicone. You empty it in the toilet, rinse it out, put it back in. You can't rinse it out
No,
if you're
you
not in
can't
a
do
single
that.
stall. I can't really like juggle my bloody period cup to the sink in a public bathroom. Like, are you
Yeah.
out of your fucking mind? No. And I am I am opposed to period underwear because I'm a grown up, and that to me is far too close to diapers.
Mm.
I'm not the kind of grown up that either likes or needs a diaper at this stage of my life. I don't want to feel like I'm wearing one. And pads are awful. So, tampons it is.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the plastic tampon applicators. So aside from all of the waste that I already hate about it, yes, they can pinch you. I have been pinched by a plastic tampon applicator in my vaginal canal, and holy
Ow!
shit, does it hurt, bitch? It hurts.
Ugh.
So, feeding those to the wolves. I hope they don't choke, because as of right now, the fish are choking on them, as far as I can tell.
I think I'm gonna feed. I'm trying to think of a not serious one. I can't do my boss again.
Could do your mother.
I could. I could do my mother, but. Who am I gonna throw to the wolves? I am gonna throw. I hope that would make you come up with one. I'm gonna have to cut some of this out, I think. I'm gonna throw Gabe Newell to the fucking crows. To the fucking wolves. Gabe Newell's a bitch ass motherfucker.
I don't know who that is.
He's the maker of Steam, because I was gonna buy Hoi 4. I was gonna buy Hoi 4. Well, he's not the maker of Steam. He's the CEO of Valve. I think. Let me Google that. Let me make sure
Which
I'm
is
not
like the maker of Steam.
bullshitting.
If
Gabe
you're bullshitting, it's way
Newell,
funnier. She's like, I hate Dwayne the Rock
co-founder of
Johnson.
Valve, with Mike Harrington,
he-
a former Microsoft colleague. Colleague?
Oh,
What
oh,
the?
princess, your colleague is you.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw Gabe Newell to the fucking wolves, because there was a sale on a game that I was gonna play with my girlfriend that I went to buy the day after I saw it, and it had already been over, and it was on sale for like 2 days.
Fuckers.
And it was a good deal. It was a good deal. And it was Hoi 4. It's not a Hearts of Iron 4. It's not a game I would buy normally. Right? It's a
Sure.
Chud game, but there's a cool mod for it.
Chud.
Cannibal Humanoid Underground Dweller.
I knew you would say it for me, thank you. I always forget.
Of course. That's what I'm here for. And I think that's our show.
That's our show.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Yeah, make bad choices.
Make bad choices.
Kick people in the jaw.
Do spin kicks.